Hello everybody. This is my little video that's, my little post show of getting to show up on Matthew 4:19's Google Hangout with the likes of Steve Shives, Bionic Dance, 13 Heathens, Our Godless World, Robin Dupree Reed, and Christopher Mate, and, there's at least two more that I forgot to mention, in which case I apologize. Um, I had a great time. I don't think that sentiment was shared by everybody on the show, but that was my first opportunity getting to do that, and perhaps my only regret is that the conversation continued with at least me, Steve, and Our Godless World, and like one or two other guys for about 30 minutes afterwards. And I guess my only shame is that professing my undying fandom and squealing fanboyness for Steve Shives didn't show up on that. I'm a shameless bastard when it comes to things like that. That was really cool to meet Steve. He's something of a hero. And Our Godless World is one of the coolest guys that, he was really the guy who made me think, you know what, I can make videos and I can have something interesting to say because I relate to him a lot. And what did I wanted to say? What did I want to say afterwards? I think needs to get said as the reason why that was a really cool experience for me is we had like 8 atheists and 1 theist on the show, and with the exception of 2 people, everybody enjoyed themselves. And why do I think that was important? Because a lot of people, I think, are putting the cart before the horse with the atheist issue. There's a level of, oh God, I don't know what the right word is for it. Perhaps it's hubris or arrogance or an unwillingness to admit the truth with what's actually going on with the long-term goals of atheism. I guess I'm one of the atheists who would like to see a world eventually where we don't have religions and we don't have organized superstition, and that everything is followed, through logic and science. I think P.W. Swillville once told me that he wants to see the world where when somebody brings up what he calls magical thinking, be it your lucky socks or be it a personal god, that we laugh at that, and that's no longer acceptable. And I'm not sure that's my end goal, but I will tell you that I would like to see secularism and people who are secular in nature and even outright atheist in nature are the majority and not the minority. I would like to see a geopolitical world where non-theist, because atheist, express atheism isn't necessary, but the a world where God has no place in politics and God has no place in world decisions, that's a great world that I want to see. And before, in my opinion, the only reasonable expectation that I can have as an atheist is that before my goal exists, there must be these incremental steps where atheism is steadily normalized. And some people think that the best way is to rail against religion, to decry religion, or to laugh at religion. And I'm okay with all that up to a point, but I believe that the surest way to the next step, what is progress at this point, is to be visible and to be normal. I am not the boogeyman. I am not a Satan worshiper. I'm not drinking goat's blood in the back corner of my house. I am a normal human being. I'm somebody you see on the street every day. I'm somebody who might smile and hold the door open for your grandmother. I'm somebody who you might see volunteering at a charity. I've volunteered at Christian food drives, and if given the chance, I would do it again without caring that it's a Christian food drive. Charity and stuff is awesome. But I need to go out there, and my responsibility as an atheist is to go out there and just be somebody, be a normal person, and to be visible. And I think the best way to normalize myself as an atheist is to be friends with the Christians, to talk to them. And I've adopted a manner of speaking to Christians that a lot of atheists find extremely uncomfortable. I will talk about God as if God is real. I will talk about Jesus as if Jesus is real. And, a lot of people are up in the air. Was Jesus real? Was Jesus a real person who was misrepresented? Yada, yada, yada. I don't care. My goal is to plant questions in the same way that they want to plant believers and plant churches. Because atheism, I believe, is a natural result of asking the right questions. And having, like they said, scripture is not where you want to go to become an atheist. No. Science. Go read some textbooks. You know what? I mean, when I was a kid, I was reading like zoo books and stuff, and I don't know if that stuff's still available, but that stuff planted the questions without having to address the issue directly. And that's my goal. Every time I hear a Christian make a statement of faith, do you really believe that? Why do you believe that? Does that nag on your conscience at all? Is that controversial to you? Where do you disagree with your pastor? These are what I like to talk about. And I need to be a friend to a Christian to get into these personal topics. And if I am laughing at them, and if I'm packing up my headphones and running out of a chat room in disgust, I have done nothing to enamor a person to my position. Now, I like Bionic Dance, and Robin Dupree Reed has been nothing but nice to me in my channel, but I cannot advocate that behavior, because that might impress an atheist, but that will never impress a believer. Never. And I, with hurt in my heart, have to admonish those two for that. That's unacceptable. That's not going to get us anywhere. The hubris of the believer and the unbeliever alike is to think they can sway the opposite party with insults and anger and scoffing and laughing. And I mean, a lot of stuff came up in that discussion that was hard not to laugh at. And maybe because I had no idea how my phone was working, I kept my mic on mute constantly, is why you didn't hear me laughing my ass off at a couple of things that Len said, Matthew 4:19. But I also don't feel professional in laughing at the guy, even if I find something he says laughable. And I mean, even Steve, who's one of the most professional atheists I've seen on YouTube, couldn't not help but laugh at him. But the thing is I don't even think Steve might have had the same level of upsetness as perhaps Robin and Bionic Dance did, because, Steve knows what's going on there. Steve's been on these things before. And Steve really wanted to help the guy understand, and I really wanted to help the guy understand. And I guess I didn't come into this experience knowing hardly anything about Bionic Dance. I get the impression that she's one of the more popular and seen people who was there, and I really didn't like. I feel like she misunderstood what that conversation was about. I did not come there with any intention, plan, bullet point, idea, or even first thought to pwn Matthew 4:19. And maybe that's because I'm one of the guys who believes all the pwnage has been done over and over again for decades, and I'm not interested in pwning theists. They've already been pwned, for those of you who need them to be pwned. And I felt like that was to the detriment of the entire cast of people there to have this need to pwn Matthew. And I am very glad that pretty much nobody else went along with it. And don't think that's any kind of like particular dig at her channel. It was just that particular event. I felt like I needed to come out and admonish, because that hubris that mocking and unwillingness to listen is what we hate about a lot of theists and a lot of apologists. And hypocrisy is something that neither I nor God like. You know, Jesus threw around hypocrite. I also hate me a hypocrite. And so I'm not going to stand by that kind of behavior for all those reasons I just listed. And I almost wish that the next like 35 minutes or so where that conversation continued to take place could have been shown, because I had a great time. And I told Steve and I told Len that, you know, I wish that didn't happen, because there's no need for that. And this isn't the place to do that. And don't think that I don't think there's a time and a place to mock and to pwn and to laugh at. And it's not like my personal heroes, you know, OGW and Steve Shives, don't laugh and admonish and mock and pwn, because they do. And who knows, I will probably eventually make videos where I too laugh and mock and make fun of. But that's not what I came there to do. And so Bionic Dances, I thought she's not going to preach. I got in the message in writing. You know, and it said in the video, he said expressly, you know, like, I would hope that I can sway you to my side. So the fact that the guy preached twice for all of 45 seconds or something in 2.5 hours shouldn't have broken your back, okay? Really shouldn't have. I gotta admit that my ears turned off maybe after the first 30 seconds, and I didn't catch all of what he said because I didn't want to hear it either. But I had the friggin' decency to not make a fucking show of it. To what end? You know, to what effect do you make a show of it? For your own sense of well-being? Because it just doesn't benefit the conversation. And that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. And no, I still love Robin Dupree Reed, and I owe it to myself to watch some Bionic Dance videos and then come back and say something nice about her, because that's not what I was intending to say. But I know. I'll call him like I see him. Thanks, everybody.